The Met Gala is absolutely cooked, y'all. Why the Met Gala spits in the face of the viewers and how some guests have used it to protest. Protests are happening outside of the event, on college campuses all over the world, and in the hearts of many. The fact that they used J.G. Ballard's short story, The Garden of Time, as source material for this event is anarchic, purely anarchic. Count Axel, the protagonist in the short story, lives in complete comfort in his castle with his wife. They listen to orchestral compositions and fill their days with pleasure and contentment. But outside, near the mountains that frame their castle, is an encroaching horde of the unwashed masses. Swords, pots, shields, clubs, limbs, heads, they're all indiscernible from each other as the swarm moves towards the castle. The crystal flowers that grow in their garden have this special ability. They have this ability to turn back time. And each time Count Axel sees this horde or hears them encroaching, he would pluck one of these flowers and crush the crystals in his hand. Once he crushed these flowers, the horde would retreat behind the mountain and time would be set back. But the garden is dwindling, and each time he plucks a flower, it brings him closer to his fate, as there is no shield that protects any institution, any structure, any authority against time. The wealthy elite may play blind and deaf to the shrieks of sorrow of other humans, but we cannot. There's urgency in this. Rafah has been invaded. The ports for aid are being closed. The voices of Palestinian people are being hammered. So we have to use our voices to uplift theirs. We cannot put a pause to talking about Palestine, simply to talk about an event as vapid as the Met. When I say vapid, I do not call into question the importance of the funding mechanism that this gala represents in supporting the museum's initiatives. I recognize that and I see its value. But this is urgent. This is urgent. We have to use every mechanism, every platform to bring attention to their plight. As we can see, they put a political muzzle on the Met. They did not allow any guests to use the event as a platform for any political position. But I've noticed that there were some political protests that emerged in very subtle ways and very evocative ways, I should say, as well. The first was Chloe Sevigny. Chloe Sevigny perfectly contextualized her presence or her invitation, accepting the invitation, whilst maintaining quiet protest in an environment that was surely muzzled. The tattered epochal garb lent itself to the theme of the event and the source material. 19th century clothing when social stratification in society knew no bounds, as children were enslaved by the capitalist system. Her blood-stained dress speaks to the bodies she would have had to climb past to reach her destination, the glitzy, shiny Met Ball. Her stylist, Hayley Wallins, and the designer, Dilara Findekoglu, have used their platforms to bring attention to the plight of the Palestinian people, so surely they were trying to think of subtle ways to integrate a form of protest at an event like this. This, I feel, might be more evocative than real because of some of the people I'm including. But it is a trend that I've noticed, and it was kind of unexpected. So I've noticed that there is a trend among the guests where they are wearing white flowers, white clothes with white flowers. And it made me think of the White Rose movement. Weiße Rose, or the White Rose movement, was a non-violent intellectual resistant group in Nazi Germany, which was led by 5 students and 1 professor at the University of Munich. Willy Graf, Kurt Huber, Christoph Probst, Alexander Schmorell, Hans Scholl, and Sophie Scholl. the group conducted an anonymous leaflet and graffiti campaign that called for active opposition to the Nazi regime. Their activity started in Munich on the 27th of June, 1942, and they were arrested by the Gestapo on the 18th of February, 1943. They, as well as other members, were arrested, imprisoned, and executed. So it makes me think about these through lines in history and the correlation between their experience and the experience of university students all across the world, all across democratic nations where their voices are being muzzled.